Ladies and gentlemen, our next session is going to be on innovations and technology, the way forward to RE. Our presenters are already here and we will be going by order. And I request our first presenter to kindly be ready as we are about to begin in any seconds from now. I request all our guests outside the hall to kindly be inside the Crystal Ball Hall for us to begin with our next technical session. And I request all the members in the hall to kindly settle down so that we can begin. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a session on innovations and technology, the way forward to RE. This session will have presentation on latest technologies and innovations by the most prominent technical partners in the industry. Each presentation will have about 10 minutes, and at the 9th minute, we'll have a buzzer as a polite reminder to the presenter to wrap up the presentation to ensure that the next presenter has sufficient amount of time for their presentation. In case of any question and answer, it may be included in the designated 10 minutes, or else we can take the questions offline. May I request all the presenters to kindly provide us with their presentations. The AV team is waiting for them to upload their presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with our first presenter of this technical session. May I now invite the COO, International Game Changer Solar, Mr. Vikas Bansal, to kindly join us onto the stage to make his presentation. And his topic is integration of smart algorithms with single access tracker to boost the power generation of solar power projects. Very warm welcome to Mr. Vikas Bansal. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together as we have our first presenter coming onto the stage, Mr. Vikas Bansal. We request Mr. Vikas Bansal to kindly join us onto the stage for his presentation. Is Mr. Vikas Bansal around? Okay, I've been indicated that Mr. Vikas Bansal is on his way, and so is Mr. Sai Charan. We move to our third presenter, which is Mr. Sunil Thamaran, who is the VP and MD, Enphase India. I request you, sir, to kindly join us onto the stage to kindly make your presentation. His topic is how technology can accelerate India's residential solar growth. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
এটা মিউট করতে পারো এটা ওর ল্যাপটপটা সরিয়ে নিতে পারো
मतलब पहुंच जाएगा बट यूएसबी तो है नहीं इसमें क्लिक करके ऐसा
क्या
आप यहाँ से करोगे
HDMI है ना
Sir, your EP.
No, no, no. Where is the screen, by the way? आएगा. Hello? Yeah. You can start. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sunil and I head the India operation for Enphase Energy. Enphase is a leading microinverter company in the US, and we've been in India for the last 5 years. And so today my topic here is to talk about how can technology accelerate India's residential solar growth. It's a very, very simple topic, and I'll have a few slides talking about that. First, a quick introduction about the company. So we are a microinverter company which we were established in 2006 in the US. We went public in 2012, so it's a public company now. And we are headquartered in Fremont, California, with about 3,000 employees, 3,500 employees today in the company. This number is a little bit old, so maybe 3,000 employees today. We are in 142 countries, and out of that, 2,600 employees that I spoke about, we have about 1,500 in India. So we have pretty significant presence in India in terms of R&D and business management in India. And we started also manufacturing solar microinverters from India with a partner called Salcomp in Chennai. So we have the R&D setup, we have business management, we have also the manufacturing partnership in India. So we've done a long way in the last 5 years starting our India operations. And in terms of market share, we are a leading microinverter supplier in the US. We have approximately 60% market share in the US with microinverter. And this is the published number by Energy Sage last month. And we are also now becoming a very dominant player in the Europe and Australia, New Zealand. And also we are also in India now as an emerging player in India. In terms of spread, we have 25 lakhs of residential systems all across the world, 50,000 small commercial systems, 4.8 crore microinverters shipped so far. And in terms of revenue, in terms of battery, we also have launched our smart battery, lithium-ion-based battery 2 years ago, and we have shipped about 535 megawatt hours of battery, primarily in the US. Revenue 2021, last year revenue was about 11,000 crore Indian rupees equivalent, and 6 months revenue after that been about 8,000 crores. We are actually set to have a record year this year also. And market cap, the value of the company is about $40 billion today in the US. Yeah, over here. Okay. So the topic quickly, the problems in residential solar growth in India, and I've classified 4 items here. One of them is the customer experience. So that's the number one thing that we always measure. If we give a great experience to customers, then everything else actually secondary. So that is in terms of energy production, efficiency, the quality of installations, the service that we provide or any manufacturer provide to the customers, the reliability, which is the long-term life of the product, and also the safety. Safety also has been a pretty big aspect of how the market is not really growing. Then there is second, which is the high capital spending. You all know that the prices have been increasing, the GST increase, the BCD increase, customs duty, and recently the module prices have been going up because of the higher wattage, watt-peak modules coming in. And there is also lack of very structured financing in this particular market. The third thing that I want to say as a problem is the lack of awareness at the consumer level. And we have seen the root of solar benefits. A lot of people don't know what benefit can I get. Even when I speak to my neighbor, they don't know what can I get by doing this. And then what are the products? What are good products? What are the good features that we can get? Who makes the best products, etc. So a lot of awareness issues. If I pay 2 lakh rupees for a system, what will I get? It's been a problem in India. And a lot of information, lack of information about regulatory processes also has been a problem. And then there is policy-related changes. A lot of changes have been happening in the last few years. especially on net metering. I don't have to tell you again, you are all aware of this, but a lot of changes in different states, and that also causes an awareness gap in the industry. And Enphase, when we came into the country, we spoke about two things. One is the technology, the main thing. We are a technology player. We will try to use technology to solve all these issues that we talk about. So the first thing is we are a microinverter supplier. We have a simple semiconductor software and IoT-based solution, which actually inherently is a very efficient solution compared to anything else. So we produce the energy per panel, optimize energy per panel, and that way we inherently are much more efficient than any other solutions like string inverter. So that's one solution. Second thing is on the safety aspect, which I spoke about there. We produce DC and then convert right away into AC at each panel. So we don't have high voltage DC in our system. So that causes a lot of, the high voltage DC causes a lot of fire issues, safety issues, and we don't have that. And that's why we have been winning a lot of safety critical installations across the world. Then we have an always monitoring concept. We have our gateway and, the internet-based monitoring system. We have an app on the mobile. We have web-based monitoring. So we're always monitoring every system that we have installed, and we take preventive actions. And also, if there's a failure, we'll be able to send our technicians, submit tickets, etc. We have something called a renewable operation center in the US, and we're also putting someone in India, where we'll be able to monitor every system 24/7 and be able to take corrective actions for the customer. That improves our service a lot. And third thing is, I spoke about the mobile app and the monitoring. You can actually see what is going on with your system live, updated every 15 minutes on what energy is being produced, what is being stored, and how is every inverter doing. We can actually see. And that also helps us customers to really feel a lot better in terms of what are they getting in our system. So we are using technology to solve many of the problems that we spoke about in the earlier slides. The second big thing that we have in India also is we have launched a robust digital platform. So I spoke about awareness issues. A lot of things about if I pay money, what will I get? I don't know. Am I getting the right products? Now, we have our digital platform where the customers can come in, do some research about what they can get. They can submit a form to us, and then we'll get back to them immediately with a number of solutions that we can suggest. Now, if that solution comes from a company like Enphase, we think there is a lot of value. And, okay, Enphase is suggesting that this is a good system that I can buy, then I get some value out of that. And that is a program that we invested heavily on in India to take on the awareness problem that we have in the market, which then mean that you submit a request to us, we will get back to you within an hour, and then we will take the solution to the next level where we will introduce you to an installer that we have a network of installers, and then we will take you through the complete process of buying, installing, and commissioning the system. And then beyond that, we have the customer service team in India. And to talk about India, we have about 1,500 people, which includes product development, software development, testing, customer service, all kinds of people supporting our India market also. So we are here with that kind of a workforce, which is an important thing to note, actually. So this platform, we've done this a year ago. It's been very, very successful. We've been able to capture and track and grow our number of leads coming to our platform and being able to convert them into our real business. Really helped us to solve that awareness problem to some extent. And we are actually introducing a lot more features in this platform, which will again help us to solve the same problem, the awareness of the products and solutions that we can get. So with that, quickly recap about the digital platform. So what we do through that platform is we conduct weekly installer trainings and webinars every week. That actually we invite a lot of people. They come in and it's not just about the Enphase systems, it's about the industry itself and how the market is growing. Then we do a lot of campaign on social media, and that's how we capture the number of leads into our platform. We provide an online system estimator where the customers or the prospect customers can actually input their data and then get suggested systems immediately. Very high quality Enphase trained network. So we have something called an Enphase installer network in the country also. We have about 100 or some in the country right now. Based on their installation experience and the service that they provide to the customers, we have graded them to platinum, gold, and silver levels, and then we provide, certain services to each of the grades, and we promote them in the country. We are actually acquiring we are actually trying to convert every installer that we have into that network today by training and improving their quality. So that way, when we suggest an installer through our platform, you can be assured of the quality that we have verified. Then the installer that we suggest will suggest the best system for you, and then have the discussion with you, the price discussion, the contract discussion, etc. They will do it with you. And then Enphase, in our facility, we will monitor every system, and we'll also monitor every stage of this process. It's like the lead to commissioning status, we will monitor. And we have weekly dashboards where we monitor, we take actions on it. Something is not really going right, we go address that problem. And then finally, once the installation is complete, we take the feedback in each stage from the customers and from the installers in terms of how the experience has been and what we can learn from that and how we can improve. And that's also another service level that we run from our India team here. And it's actually available 24/7 service, but in India also we provide 24/7 service in that. So this is what we undertake through the digital platform that we launched in India. So I spoke about two things. One is the product and inherent technology benefit with IoT, software, semiconductor. The second thing is the digital platform that we have invested on. These are the two major things that we have introduced in India to address the problem that I spoke about, what are the issues in growing this market here. Advantages of Enphase, obviously quality because it's semiconductor software integration. Reliability, we give 25 years of warranty on our products, on the inverter. High efficiency, I spoke about that because we do every panel-based inversion. Flexibility, because you add and drop the way you want panels. Simplicity, very simple to install. Safety, I spoke about DC voltage, the safety related advantages. Customer experience, I spoke about 24/7 support and always monitoring the systems. Digital platform and innovation. We are backed up with about 300 plus patents in this technology, and we have very highly innovated products to solve the customer solutions for customer issues. That's all I have for this 10 minutes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Sunil Thamarun with his presentation. Thank you so much, sir, essentially, for keeping up the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request our next presenter to kindly join us onto the stage. We are very honored to have amongst us the CEO, AirTouch Solar India, Mr. Nimish Jain, who is going to make his next presentation. And his topic is automated panel cleaning, trend and outlook. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Nimish Jain.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nimish Jain, CEO of AirTouch Solar India Private Limited. We are one of the leading robotic cleaning manufacturing company, started in Israel in 2019 and started doing business in India in 2020. So I think, let's start with the introduction and the market outlook about the cleaning, solar cleaning, various losses in the solar system. Why do we need robotic cleaning? Some of these points must be very obvious and known to many of you, but still, a quick overview about AirTouch, what we do, and the trends and outlook in the robotic cleaning. So as we all know that, as the market is growing, solar PV installations are growing, number of panels are growing, so we need a proper and better cleaning. And if you look at in the next 5 years, the market is growing approximately at a CAGR of upwards of 10% and clocking to approximately $1 billion revenue, the cleaning market. And out of that cleaning market, if you look in 2026, there is a significant shift towards dry cleaning as compared to the wet cleaning. So currently it's opposite of this pie chart if you look. So in next 5 years, the trend is looking to change and dry cleaning will become more prominent type of cleaning. So typically, if you talk about various types of solar panel cleaning, so one is the manual, which is more prevalent in India because of few reasons, because of the unavailability of good, reliable sources of cleaning like automated cleaning or semi-automated cleaning, and also because the labor is not very expensive. But going forward, that's going to be a challenge, and people will be relying more towards automated cleaning or semi-automated cleaning. And one more interesting mode is the hybrid mode, wherein you have both autonomous as well as portable robots, which will not only help in doing cleaning for some of the existing plants where the rows are short and there are misalignment issues, but also in some of the plants, new plants, where the better optimization and better ROI can be achieved by decreasing the number of robots significantly. I'll probably show you an example citing this. So if we talk about the various losses in the PV system, as many of you know that, there is a DC, nameplate DC rating loss, wherein the actual capacity of the solar panel is different than what we get because of the, light-induced degradation, or maybe because of inaccuracy in the measurement. Then there are some diode losses which are present in the modules. There are mismatch losses. If you talk about solar panels, there are IV differences, and because of the current and voltage differences, there are some mismatches in different panels in the same string as well, and that causes some losses. We know there is a lot of wiring, DC and AC wiring in the solar plant, that also causes some losses. Sun tracking losses, it all depends on if you are having a tracker, and if the tracker is not performing optimally, there may be some losses related to that. And shading and soiling losses are something very, very prevalent and probably more important to discuss in this session, especially the soiling losses, which can actually degrade the performance of the plant by up to 20 to even 30% in some of the locations where the cleaning is not done properly, where the soiling losses are very high, where the sandstorms are very, very prevalent. So if you look at the soiling distribution map of the world, mainly India falls under category 3, which actually means that majority of the plants in India are under a high soiling zone, and which also means that, a lot of cleaning and lot of proper cleaning is needed. So, and if you talk about this automated cleaning system that we provide, and in general the automated robotic cleaning can probably increase or deliver up to 10% additional gain over the modules that are not being cleaned properly and which are in high soiling areas, especially in the northern states in India, or even in states like Maharashtra and Gujarat to some extent. So why robotic cleaning? So as we all know that, cleaning of panels is very, very important for better generation, better output of the plant. And as I already mentioned, there are two major ways of cleaning. One is manual and one is automated or robotic. So why robotic cleaning? One is that it increases efficiency by up to 10%. So if you look at robotic cleaning versus manual cleaning, in some cases where the cleaning is not done properly, or if the frequency is like once in a month or maybe once in 1.5 months, and if you compare with the robotic cleaning, it can go up to 10%. Practically, we have seen with majority of the plants, it can easily go up by up to 3 to 4% even in some of the cases. It's definitely less labor intensive, though India as a country, the labor is not that costly as compared to some of the other countries. But if you look at time, with time, the cost of labor is going high, and also the reliability of labor in India is not that good. So a more autonomous way of cleaning is preferred, where manual intervention is less. Soiling loss, as I've already spoken, that soiling loss can bring down the performance of the panel by up to 30%. And if you're doing a proper cleaning with autonomous robots, in fact, we can guarantee soiling loss of less than 1% in some of the cases after doing some analysis. Obviously, we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about renewables. So that is also one of the most underrated but most important point of robotic cleaning or dry robotic cleaning, where we are saving billions of liters of water, and that to a potable, good quality water that otherwise will be used for cleaning panels. OpEx significant savings. I mean, I'll show in the subsequent slide that in most of the cases in India, the ROI or the payback period with robotic cleaning, including the OpEx cost, can be 3 to 4 years. And majority of the cases, it will be less than 3 years even. And excellent panel protection. As we know that the solar panel has a glass, and glass has an ARC coating, anti-reflective coating. So if you are cleaning manually, when the people are not very well trained about how to clean solar panels, they are rubbing it very hard, and it actually causes damage to the anti-reflective coating on the solar panel. But with this type of microfiber based cleaning that we provide, the panel protection is excellent, and we have third-party audited results also to verify this. So these are two different solutions that we typically offer to some of the clients in India. So one is a hybrid solution where we have both autonomous as well as portable robots. So we have taken a typical example of a 50 megawatt case where we have typically the same number of panels, feed-in tariff is the same, average annual yield, additional yield is 1.5%, and the manual cleaning cost per panel is 1 rupees per panel per cycle. But if you look at one of the solution where a hybrid solution is there, the project payback period is 3 years, and the total number of robots are 124. Whereas if you look at only autonomous solution, the number of autonomous robots is 246. But definitely there are pros and cons in both the things. I mean, on the right hand side, on 100% autonomous, there is absolutely no manual intervention. So that is the advantage there. And some of the clients or some of the developers don't want any manual intervention when it comes to cleaning, and they want 100% autonomous robots. And as a company, AirTouch, we provide both the solutions, hybrid, purely autonomous, and portable in some cases where the plants are having some serious issues or very short tables, only portable robots work there. So about AirTouch, is a company founded in 2017 in Israel. Head office is in Israel, and our India office is in Noida. We have a manufacturing capacity which can manufacture up to 600 robots per month. It's a huge capacity in Noida, in Sector 84. And we are a stock exchange listed company. In 2021, we got stock exchange listed. We started business in India in 2019, but because of the COVID, it was a little slow, but still we are one of the major players in robotic cleaning now, and we have achieved a milestone of 2 gigawatt in less than 2 years of time since we started operation in India. And some of our key clients you see, we have Renew Power, we have EDF, we have Acme, Hero Future Energies, to name few. So this is our factory in Israel, and this is our factory and office in Noida. And we have, in one shift we can do up to 600 robots, and in 2 shifts if we run, we can do up to 1,000 robots per month. So we have on an average more than 2% improvement in the additional yield when we do robotic cleaning with our automated robots. And also we have saved more than 360 million cubic meters of water per year by using these dry cleaning robots. So if you look at some of the trends, some of the new products that we are offering, or some of the key trends in robotic cleaning, is something related to the 100% autonomous cleaning, which is AT-IoT driven robots that we manufacture. And also a new product that we have very recently launched is the robot for trackers, wherein we have autonomous vehicles that will carry the robot, and one autonomous vehicle can carry 3 robots, and with one autonomous vehicle we can clean up to 60 rows. So that's one of the key USP, and probably in the next slide we'll have a it's not copied, or that video. Yeah, so basically we have an autonomous vehicle that carries 3 robots, and one autonomous vehicle with 3 robots can clean up to 60 rows, and it has got a sensor which can sense the tilt angle of the robot. So when it is placing the robot on the table, it is actually sensing the tilt angle of that tracker at that particular point of time and putting it for the cleaning. And similarly, with one autonomous vehicle, you can clean up to 60 rows, which is one of the best and most economic solution present across the globe, which we provide. I think the video, some issue, it's not working. It's not. It was, anyways, so started. Yeah. So this is the autonomous vehicle that is driving on the rails. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Nimish Jain with his presentation. May I now invite our next speaker, and we have with us the Chief Growth Officer, Oriano Clean Energy Private Limited, Mr. Dheeraj Malani. May I request you to kindly join us onto the stage with your presentation, and he's going to speak on utilization of solar parks for CNI. Very warm welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dheeraj Malani. I takes care of business development in Oriano Clean Energy. And Oriano, you might have heard most of the time with respect to the solar EPC and other things. I want to give a new flavor about the Oriano Clean Energy today, and as well as wants to talk a little bit about the utilization of solar parks in the C&I segment. So let's talk about a little glance over how the C&I segment is growing with respect to the renewable energy. As you see the numbers, there is a good growth potential happening in the solar industry, in the C&I segment, when they are more interested towards securing their energy for their consumption ends from the renewable point of view. Earlier, these are the things which were not that prominent among the C&I industry, and the reason was very simple, that the renewable was not that economical. But nowadays it has become so much economical and so much viable that each and every C&I segment is keen to set up either their own power plants or wants to avail that energy security and not wants to be dependent on the fuel kind of power plants anymore. And you can see the procurement routes available with them. The first is the setting up their own captive power plants, which is a little bit capital intensive for those C&I customers. The second, the lighter mode is group captive power plants, where they have to suffice the minimum requirement of the equity that is need to be put up into the project from the government guidelines point of view, and they can enjoy the 100% of the power from those power plant. There, the polished solar developers will also come into picture, and they will also take care of the execution and the operations and maintenance of the entire power plant, rather than that particular C&I customer to brainstorm from the day one to the last 25 years to check whether the generation is happening or not, they are consuming or not, that energy settlement is happening or not. So these kind of differences are there in between the first mode and the second mode. And the third is, of course, a little more lighter mode, where they are availing the third party power purchase, or they are availing the power from the exchanges on day-ahead basis or weekly basis, or they are trying to make this energy security for their consumption end, and various options are available. Now they have to see that how they bifurcate their entire load. One is the base load, for which they can go with a long-term solution. The another is a spike load, which is there available in the C&I segment, that they can have a kind of solution where they are availing power under the short term from the exchanges, as well as through the bilateral route. And then there would be another market which is coming up into the industry, which is derivative market, where at least they can hedge their position with respect to their power cost. Then virtual PPAs are also in discussion. In Europe or US, these virtual PPAs are well in use, but in India, we are slightly discussing on those aspects, because in India, power is a regulated business. So we have to see how we can figure out virtual PPAs in this world, which will make a sense for them. And the last is the DISCOM green energy tariff, which is well available, but have not taken a pace as of now. So there are various hurdles and various enablers. Hurdles are not new. I am in this industry from last 12 years, and believe me, all these hurdles are available in this industry from last these 12 years. But still, this industry is giving a kind of solution against all these hurdles and trying to figure out how we can make solution and move ahead. As you can see, policy uncertainty, higher cost than large-scale power plants, access to low-cost capital for these kind of projects, poor health of DISCOM and transmission constraints are there. And there are various enabling factors as well. So what I'm gonna today is focusing on how we can minimize this risk and how we can optimize the cost. These are the two main elements which we are gonna discuss. So the solar parks, which is the topic today, the solar park, what they can offer instead of a separate power plant for a C&I consumer. So we have to admit this, that C&I consumption is not to the tune of that 300 megawatts or 400 megawatt scale for each and everybody. It comes in the range of 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt for an industrial consumer to maybe a 50 megawatt or 100 megawatt. So whatever the efforts you will make for their individual power plants to be set up, you cannot match that particular capacity cost with a 300 megawatt or a 500 megawatt large scale projects. So how we can bring the efficiencies of those 500 megawatt project to a 50 megawatt project? I think solar park is one of the solution for that, where you are having a concrete location, where the location dynamics are already in place. You have some concrete figures about your GHI and other things. You have a secured power connectivity from the GSS and other factors. So in terms, when your location is fixed, when your connectivity is available, when your site parameters are well determined, your risks are minimized, you are saving time enormously, and also there is a reduction on your cost, because time, risk, eventually these are also a cost element, and as well as the economies of scale of putting up an individual power plant versus putting up your individual power plant in a park. It will make a cost economic difference between the two. And that is exactly the point, that instead of going for an individual power plant for our own, a C&I consumer should always approach for a setting up a solar power plant in a solar park, because that will give an enormous amount of benefit to them. Although it looks like solar park is what? A mere piece of land and a connectivity which you are giving to me, but it is not so. It is coming up with a lot many approvals and permits which will require your time and your money, your patience, your n number of offices you have to move on. All these things, if you are getting in a one shot, so definitely it is gonna have a big impact on your cost economic aspects. As you can see here, that project development, although there is a one word power evacuation approval, but you can see within that power evacuation approval, there are 7 to 8 approvals which you have to take, and you have to go from office to office, table to table for these. And on the land side also, it is not an, okay, you have identified the land and you are putting up the power plant. Identifying the land and then finally getting it converted into a utilization point of view for a solar, it's a 10, 12 approvals and permits which you have to take for that particular aspect. Now the advanced version of this solar park could be that rather than setting up the solar park within the state where you are sitting as an industrial consumer, if there is a possibility that there is an ISTS solar park available, maybe in Rajasthan or some another locations which are having high radiation levels, which are having better cost economic sense over land parcels, which are, so in that way you are utilizing that particular cost commodity of the land also to the best possible extent. And then that power can flow from one state to another state or to your final industrial consumer. That would be a beneficial thing. And that is possible also in coming days, because as you have seen the RE rules which have come up in 2022, I think the government is also having the intent that how to judiciously use the land parcels available in the barren areas rather than putting up the individual solar plants in each and every state and distributing it to a larger extent. So I believe in coming days, ISTS solar park could be a one more winning factor for the C&I consumers. So this is about it, and just a small brief I want to go about the Oriano. We have already set up somewhere 450 megawatt of projects on ground. Another 300 megawatt is under pipeline. And solar parks also we have developed. In Karnataka, we have already served with a solar park. In Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra, we are gonna have another set of solar park available. In Maharashtra, 100 megawatt, we are gonna provide that solar park to the market very soon. And in Chhattisgarh also, that is under a preparatory stage. There are some of the key metrics about the company, how it is, when we started, and other things that you can easily see from the slides. So under the umbrella of Oriano, it is not only the solar EPC you will get, you will also get your solution for your land and power evacuation end-to-end solution, so that your focus should only be on setting up the right set of power plant, right set of capacity for yourself. This is again the same about the Oriano capabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We now move to our next presentation. May I request the Assistant Vice President, Industry Service, Green Energy and Sustainability, TUV SUD South Asia Private Limited, Mr. Deepak, to kindly come onto the stage and make his presentation. And the topic of his presentation is solutions to ensure quality, safety, and sustainability of renewable energy assets. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the presentation by TUV SUD on ensuring quality, safety and sustainability of renewable energy assets. just to give you a background about the organization, TÜV is a German-based organization. We are working in India from 1995. I am sure most of you are aware about the organization. The logo is quite famous among the product certification, system certification activities that we do. So the TÜV brand is named for quality, safety and sustainability. Here are some of the facts about the organization. We have 25,000 employees spread across 1,000 locations globally, and last financial year the turnover was 2.7 billion. So broadly the activities are spread out in 5 key segments. Testing and product certifications, wherein we have various labs across the globe where we do product certification, auditing and system certification, training, inspection and advisory. And on the vertical side, in the middle of the circle, you will see the sectors in which we are working. So energy is one of the very prominent sector wherein we are quite active and definitely is a focus for us. So it's a globally spread out organization having operations in 1,000 locations spread across 50 countries. This slide shows the countries where we have our own team, offices, resources to provide services to. So broadly, the activities have been spread out across the sustainability goals that we have. So carbon management, green energy, environment conservation, water conservation, energy efficiency, these are some of the goals wherein most of our activities are linked to, and the management has decided to focus more on sustainability goals going forward. So in renewable energy, we run throughout the life cycle of a project, starting from feasibility planning to procurement, supply inspections, construction, commissioning, in-service and other services also. So there are large projects globally we are working with and successfully done. We have our stall here in hall number 15. I kindly invite you to visit us to know more about our services and about your requirements. Since the topic is on the innovative solutions, in this particular RE Expo, we are disclosing our new innovative services called dynamic blade pitch angle measurements for operating wind turbines and nacelle-based LIDAR measurements again for operating wind turbines. We have an operating model at our stall. We'll be happy to receive you there. Some of the facts on the quality of renewable energy. As all of us know, employing renewable energy we have to face a lot of challenges. It could be economic challenge, policy, quality, structure, so and so forth. And all these projects do operate in the extreme weather conditions. So these challenges get aggravated because of the weather conditions. So while all of us are discussing about success factors and how we can replicate these success factors, I think we need to also focus more on the challenges that we are facing and the mitigation plans around that. So some of the facts is, as all of us know, we are one of the leaders now in renewable energy. We have ambitious targets, but at the same time, there is a legally binding on long-term operations of these power stations. So it's not only the installed capacity, we have to operate these power stations and generate the desired power. So to run these renewable energy projects maybe for 25 to 30 years, we need durability and consistency of each of the components or services that we are going to utilize in these projects. On the other hand, we have now with the reverse bidding low tariffs, and that's how low tariff, shorter duration, pushing stakeholders to sometimes compromise on the cost and quality. And that's why the insurance claims are increasing, and the lenders, mostly the global lenders, are more focusing on quality, environmental aspects for such projects. So quality and productivity, it is very important to understand the relationship between both of them. So as you know, the plant load factor, average plant load factor in India for overall renewable energy projects varies from 13% to 25%. And mostly the projects are not operating as per the expectations, quality being the major reasons for that. So as I said earlier, quality sometimes is overlooked because of the pressing timelines and other issues. Productivity is the ability of a project to deliver power, and that's where I think it's very important, because the revenues from the project are getting generated from the power that we are going to generate, not only for a particular duration or a year, but throughout the life of the project. And since we have good quality, productivity definitely will increase, and it will also ensure safety of the assets. And the moment you have incremental power, it will definitely have economic advantages of the project. So return over investment will be incremental more if you have more power generation. So renewable power is basically about the performance of the assets, not only simply install capacity in terms of gigawatts. So the quality management throughout the life cycle, I think this is what something we need to ensure too. During feasibility and planning and design phase, which is the initial phase, we need to ensure that the design is actually being done as per the relevant site conditions and with facts and figures with relevant standards in place. Next phase is on manufacturing and transportation. So products and systems that we are going to use naturally has to be certified. Then the manufacturer should have the capability to produce the quality products that we are intending to do, and then quality assurance plan and pre-dispatch inspections needs to be ensured. During transportation, again, this is a very, very important area, and most of the defects get generated during transportation. So we need to have standard operating practice for transportation and then guidelines around that. Then construction and commissioning, again a very important task. The installation agency who is going to do the installation, they should definitely have the SOP and trained manpower. I think trained manpower is something that is lacking. We don't have the manpower who are working at site requisite training, and that's how there could be defects in the project implementation itself. So do you have a clear guidelines for the installation agency, and are they deploying the trained manpower is something that we need to ensure too. And during operations, of course, rather than a conventional operation and maintenance, we need to go one step ahead, maybe artificial intelligence based kind of O&M practices that needs to be integrated. We have definitely standards for each and every project stage that I have mentioned too. And it will be sort of responsibility of all of us individually and collectively to implement these standards at our site. So we have standards for various products, we have standards for selecting manufacturer, installation agency, commissioning, and even performance monitoring also. So we need to definitely see that all these standards are actually getting implemented at site to ensure quality and reliability of our power stations. So we'll be more than happy to team with you to implement all these standards for all your projects that you're implementing. That project could be new project or even during operation project. We'll be more than happy to work with you to ensure the quality around that. Some of the clients with whom we have already worked, this side shows the project developers, and that side shows the various funding institutions, again a combination of international funding institution as well as the national ones. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts and being pretty much on time. May I now invite our next presenter, and we have General Manager Business Development, ENERPAC, Mr. Hardik Vyas. May I request you to kindly join us onto the stage, and he would be speaking on innovations that help reduce LCOE in CNI segment. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
Very good afternoon to everyone. my previous speaker kind of covered some of the topics that I have to speak, like the robotic cleaning, and I'm sure somebody would have covered the module technology. So we'll briefly touch upon those things. I have not made it a very lengthy presentation. There are certain points that I want to talk, but the entire focus has to be on the commercial and industrial sector, because Enerpark predominantly operates in the C&I segment. And whatever we do, rooftop, ground mount, or even open access now, it's predominantly for the C&I segment. So the entire focus will be more on the C&I within premise assignments. Some of the key takeaways that we want to share, something that we look up to in the future assignments that we will take up. So those points we'll touch up, and I'm sure most of you who work in the C&I segment will be able to relate to that. So concept that we use in our day-to-day operations, that the LCOE, we talk a lot about what is the levelized cost of energy, specific to C&I, which is not dependent on any direct or indirect government support. LCOE plays a very important role for a consumer, specifically when we talk about the CAPEX projects, where they're investing their own money in the project. If you can. Yeah. Okay. So we all know the concept of LCOE, that the total cost and how we improvise the generation. So this is one of the cost components which is the upfront cost, the capital cost. The capital cost involves the basic EPC cost and the financing cost, whether it's your own money or if it's an external borrowing, there is always a finance cost attached. If it's your own money, you look at it as an opportunity cost, and an external borrowing, you look at the interest cost as a hard component. The other element is the operation and maintenance cost, something that we usually see. It's not a topic that is taken very seriously, be it a ground mount utility scale projects or a C&I captive projects. So I will spend some time on the operation maintenance segment, because a lot of fine elements add up to a lot of saving and can improve the asset performance. So these two are the key cost elements that we broadly want to touch upon. The other part is the most important is the generation part. So, I mean, in C&I usually we see that it's kind of a commoditized market. That's how we see utility has been a commoditized market. But C&I is also getting into that now, having about 8 gigawatt installed in India. So these three elements we'll touch upon today. We'll see what are the areas where technology can play its part, where innovations can play its part, and optimize all the three elements which help you reduce the levelized cost of energy. So first we'll touch upon the initial phase of any project design. So if I talk about typical rooftop, we usually, the rooftops are predominantly on the metal sheet roof, which are mostly not constructed using solar installation in mind. So they are already built structure wherein we have to accommodate solar. So your design philosophies vary from side to side, and that is making C&I very, very interesting. So one aspect that we want to touch upon is that the initial design. So what we have observed after having done about 215 megawatt projects in India is that even though there are multinational corporations who appoint a turnkey installer for their PEB structure and other things, most of the time the actual site requirements are not what is put on the drawings. And my colleague Mr. Srinivas will second with me that there are at least 4 to 5 revisions in the PV array layout. What it means is that EPC for EPC or any project, the time is equal to money. The more time you spend on that, the more money you are investing in it. So what happens is that the first instance when you do the PV array layout, if site inputs are not captured correctly, that is where you invest more time. And again, if you are dealing with multiple projects, you kind of let go certain aspects of a design. So one thing that Enerpark does very consistently, and we have seen that people are using drones more often now, even in the rooftop segment as compared to ground, is they want to ensure the first design it kind of captures all the elements as precise as possible. For example, most of the roofs we see that there are transparent sheets, there are wind turbo, so there are elevator structure if you go to the automotive premises. So what happens is, even though they have a final drawing available with them, we have seen that the joints where the roof sheets are overlapping, or there are some structures modified after the actual factory is installed, which makes it really difficult when you actually go and put the measurement on the roof. So in spite of having drawings, in spite of having almost the accurate information that we need to initiate the design activities, we still prefer to go on the drone survey, which captures the millimeter kind of deviations, and that help us finalize the area layout, because based on that the entire bill of material kind of is designed. So drone survey is something that we are seeing very high usage, the penetration of drone, not only post installation but pre-installation is also increasing very significantly. The second one is PV module technology. So I'm pretty sure one of my previous speakers would have covered the PV technology trends, what are the new technologies. So I mean, we all know the PERC is the synonym with PV modules right now, and mostly we see the mono PERCs kind of getting in them. We also have seen in the exhibition that there are few manufacturers who are announcing TOPCon N-type modules. What we are using right now is a P-type mono PERCs with certain limitations such as LID losses and other things, which TOPCons or N-type can claim to remove, because the manufacturing process kind of gives them that leverage. So what we are seeing is that a conventional silicon technology is now looked in a different way, depending on different applications. Every consumer is open to hear new ideas, how new technologies can benefit, because ultimately they want to improvise their performance for the amount of money they have invested. So the picture that you're seeing is for one of our sites at Silvassa. This is for a company called Alok Industries, which is a textile major. This is done on an RCC roof. So the RCC roof, it was one of the first projects that we touched BIPV module, the bifacial modules, because we realized that the design factors or the cost elements have certain limiting effect on the overall viability of a project. So why not look at improving the plant output and give something in terms of new technology to customers, so the effect, overall effect, not only the techno-commercial effect, but the ownership experience is much better. So this is one of the first bifacial models that we have used, and now we know that bifacials are in vogue along with the tracker technology. The ground mount projects are really running after deriving the math out of it. So the same fundamental that we use, because the ground mounts are also fighting it out in reverse auction sub 3 rupee tariff, and for them they have to do everything to reduce the cost or improve the plant performance. Similarly, even for CNI now we see that the dynamics of solar industry is ever changing with the introduction of duties and the BOS cost increasing, the metal price is going for a toss, exchange rate hitting 80, 81. So the only way for CNI customer is to look at such kind of innovative practice or to adopt new technology which gives them the comfort for a longer term, because they are the ultimate asset owner. Other thing is that how do we address the operation maintenance practice, because we are still seeing that there is a seriousness amongst a lot of EPC players, amongst a lot of CNI customers, to look at operation maintenance as a important and integral part of the activity, because the asset they own, they have to operate for 25 years to get the benefit they've expected out of it at the time of order closure. So some of the practices that we do and some of the practices we feel that we'll see industry adopting very soon. So the operation maintenance concept, we know there are various types of maintenance. Most of the maintenance that we do now is kind of corrective. So it's kind of, we chase an event and then we try to correct that. But a lot of focus is on the preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, how you can remove, reduce the corrective phase. If you can predict, you can prevent certain kind of maintenance. These are the practices that are used. So one of the thing again is the use of drones. We use to do the thermal imaging after the execution. There are periodic intervals on which we do thermal imaging to ensure that the plant is in good health. The PV models which are susceptible to certain atmospheric disturbances are within the tolerance range that is estimated. The other thing is the robotic cleaning is already talked by Mr. Nimish, so I will not touch upon that, but even the rooftop segment is coming up with huge demand of automated cleaning, especially industries which are already under pressure from the pollution control board not to use water for other activities. So there we are seeing the demand from CNI customers on dry cleaning requirement. Last point I want to touch upon is the use of AI and digital twins. So something that we have seen being deployed in very complex processes. Now it's coming to solar, and hence by that logic, I can tell that solar is not as simple as we all think. Solar has a lot of complexity. So what we are seeing is that there are several components involved in solar project, and we have to see that how their behavior is going to be in 25 years. So digital twin kind of creates a digital identity of actual asset. It monitors all the plant components with the help of sensors and the machine learning architecture. And what it does is it understands the aging effect. It predicts when the maintenance is going to come, what kind of maintenance is going to come, when the replacement is going to come. So these are all very important and impactful tool to do the total productivity management. And slowly we are seeing this getting implemented in larger projects. But a 2 megawatt, 3 megawatt CNI customer are also looking at this kind of thing, which is more of part of the demand side management. So these are all points that I wanted to touch, that what all can be done to improve the effectiveness of a CNI project, or to say that the reduction in the LCOE. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vyas, for sharing your thoughts with us. Ladies and gentlemen, now may I request the Technical Director, Jinko Solar, Mr. Sai Charan, to kindly join us onto the stage for his presentation. And his topic is TOPCon Penetrating and Path-Breaking PV Technology. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Sai Charan. May I request the audiovisual people to kindly come onto the stage for the lapel mic? We need the lapel mic. Over to Mr. Sai Charan for his presentation on the topic TOPCon Penetrating and Path-Breaking PV Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being so patient.
Thank you. Very good afternoon, one and all. Thanks for joining this particular session. So this is more related to the company introduction. Just before going into the depth of this particular presentation, I just would like to give you a kind of brief introduction about Jinko Solar. Jinko Solar, global leading solar PV module manufacturer. We are vertically integrated manufacturer right from ingot to wafer to cell to module. And within this particular segment, we were standing at a capacity of around like 50 gigawatt capacity for this particular year. And right from the day of our inception, we have supplied beyond 100 gigawatt capacity by the end of Q1 of 2022. Just specific to this, how could we achieve this particular feat of 100 gigawatt capacity? It all has happened just because of the credentials, whatever we hold within the market. And it all comes with two different metrics, which are very important. One is more specific to reliability aspect of the product, which generally comes with more on the reliability fronts, which is completely there with PVEL scorecard or DNVGL reports or RETC kind of reports. So all these particular factors value in more for the reliability aspects of the product. That's where we always try to maintain our quality constraints or specific to reliability aspects. And the second important metric is on the fronts of lenders prospects, which is nothing but on the bankability aspect of the product. And that comes with lenders prospects, where in which we can see from the reports which generally being circulated or which generally being generated by BTI or Bloomberg. So all these particular reports generally try to value in specific to the credentials of that particular organization on the fronts of financials. So all these particular factors value add in just listing out whether this particular manufacturer is a part of tier 1 or not. And specific to that, from the last consecutive 16 quarters, we were topping this particular board and topping this particular chart as a number 1 module manufacturer on this particular segment. So it's a kind of value addition. We can say that we are not just a kind of typical module manufacturer. We are a technology provider. So we always try to edge more on the technology fronts, right from the days of 110 by 110 wafer size. We transformed ourselves to 156 by 156, where the power class used to stand at 330 watt peak. And then we went to 182, which is there now, when compared with the existing 210, where the module watt peak power class or the power density is just standing at around like 550 to 600 kind of watt peak, where in which the density specific to that particular aspect or the efficiency, if we just try to look at, that is just standing at around like 21.5% to 22.2%. So on all these particular segments, if we just try to see, the existing mono-PERC technology, which is what is there with 182 mm wafer size or 163.75 or 166, is completely going to be obsolete in the market. The reason is that we could see that P-type is a kind of technology mono-PERC. It has started its journey way back down the line 15 years back, and now it has reached to a saturation point, wherein which we could see that this particular P-type technology or the mono-PERC, which is again a kind of rare contact technology, which is having maximum power density of only up to 21.8%. So just specific to this, if we just try to see, the existing conventional solar PV module, which generally comes with 72 cell of 182 mm wafer size modules, will be standing at a maximum power class of 550, 555 watt peak. With monofacial and with bifacial, it can be 550, not beyond that. So there is a kind of challenge specific to this kind of technology on P-type, which has already reached to the saturation point, even after going through certain kind of optimization within the BOM composition of these particular materials, where we could achieve certain improvement on the energy density part, that can happen only up to a value of around like 0.2%, but not beyond that. Since this particular saturation point has been observed within P-type or within the PERC kind of technology, which is passivated emitter, rare contact kind of technology, now this is the time for us to switch towards the high-end technology, where these particular N-type technologies are being widely used in most of the astronomical applications, where the degradation factors were limited less than 1% specific to first year, and year-on-year degradation or any other reliability kind of degradation factors that will be limited to less than 0.3% or 0.4%. So specific to this particular configuration, we initially tried in developing this particular N-type kind of technology way back in 2017 days kind of thing. So when we were standing at a capacity of around like 20 gigawatt capacity, we tested the litmus with a 200 megawatt capacity with first generation TOPCon technology or first generation N-type technology, which is nothing but PERT. We simply had replaced the existing P substrate with N substrate and went with that particular technology optimization. We tested this particular technology on the rooftops of matured markets like Europe, Australia and US, and then we had seen drastic results in that, which is why we went to the second generation technology, which is nothing but the TOPCon, where in which within this particular TOPCon there is a kind of tunneling layer which is getting added to that, and just because of that reason we easily could see the first year degradation is limited to 1% or less than that. By the day, it's like by the more number of installations which we could see in coming days definitely can reduce this particular existing 1% of first year degradation to 0.8% or 0.7% as well. This is what is expected going forward, and specific to year-on-year degradation within this particular TOPCon kind of technology, we easily could see 0.4%. So I just would like to give you a kind of quick comparison between P and N. Since we already know that 182 mm versus 210, there is a kind of huge debate, which is what is happening in the market. There are a lot of challenges with 210 specific to compatibility of electrical compatibility, or even on the fronts of logistics compatibility. Too many challenges are there with 210, where the existing string inverters are not in a position to provide that particular compatibility specific to 22, 25 amps kind of MPPT value. So which is why 182 mm wafer size modules has making a kind of huge market share. It has captured a huge market share when compared with 210. That's why we easily can see the kind of comparison between P and N also with 182 mm wafer size. With the same kind of dimensions, what we easily could see is that the power density of N-type, which is there with TOPCon kind of technology, is going to be varied. And specific to that, if you just try to see here, more predominantly on the fronts of it's not moving, yeah. Sorry. So more predominantly, if you just try to see with P-type kind of module, where we could see the temperature coefficient is going to stand at 0.35%, and the same thing if you just try to compare with N-type, it is standing at 0.3%. So which means this particular 0.05% of temperature coefficient difference is going to add value of around like 1 to 1.2% kind of extra energy yield when compared with any kind of P-type technology. Not just limiting to that, also if you just try to look at the first year degradation, it is standing at 2% with P-type and 1% and 0.4% irrespective of monofacial or bifacial. So irrespective of any kind of installation you go, you easily can find close to around like 2 to 2.5% kind of extra energy gain compared with any other kind of P-type technology, which means altogether, in short, P versus N, we easily can see power density is getting increased for the same dimensions, and energy density is also getting increased for the same kind of power class modules. So which means altogether, there is a kind of comprehensive benefit on the capex part and on the energy yield part. So altogether, your LCO is going to be reduced, your degradation is going to be reduced, and in fact, it's going to increase your IRR. At the end of the day, LCO is the most important metric, which is what is required, and that is getting sufficed with these kind of new high-end technology. But specific to this particular product, we already have applied for BAS, and BAS is also already available with us, specific to these kind of TOPCon kind of technology products. And no other manufacturer is having that, and specific to Indian market, we are trying to provide in 72 cell of monofacial and bifacial, which is there up to maximum power class of 575, 580, and specific to 78 cell, we are providing in bifacial modules up to 615 or 620 kind of power class values. So this is a kind of typical comparison which we tried in doing for all kinds of markets across the globe, wherein which what we noticed is that the kind of gain, whatever is there, when compared with existing P-type kind of technology for the same power class, for the same kind of installation, for the same location, what we notice is that minimum 2 cents to 3.5 cents is a kind of definite gain, which you easily can expect with these kind of high-end TOPCon kind of technologies, which is coming with Jinko's Tiger Neo series kind of modules. So not just limiting ourselves only to the PV market, but yes, even we are providing certain solutions on the ESS market as well, starting from kilowatt hour kind of requirement till megawatt hour kind of solutions with these kind of containerized solutions. Maybe your requirement can be with DG kind of applications, or even for C&I kind of applications, or for the standalone applications of RTC tenders. Yes, we are there to support you on all these kind of existing solutions as a kind of comprehensive ESS solution provider. Not just limiting ourselves only as a kind of module manufacturer, but yes, we will be providing this kind of solutions as well going forward. Specific to Indian market, we are even open for that. You just tell us your requirements, since these particular ESS solutions are completely complex in nature and it's customized in nature. We are open to do that particular complexity. We are open to accept those kind of challenges, whether it can be DC coupled or AC coupled. You just need to mention us what exactly is your requirement, where you want to, whether it's a kind of ancillary support or any kind of arbitrary support that you want to go with these kind of systems. We are there to support you, because we have an intelligent system in place wherein which we try to completely integrate these kind of solutions and provide to Indian market specifically, because now we are providing RESS kind of solutions to northeastern markets like Japan, South Korea. But yes, even for the other markets also, we are trying to provide these kind of containerized solutions. We generally have these kind of megawatt hour kind of solutions. So, and that is coming with AC coupled kind of solutions, and which is having a kind of life cycle of around like 6,000 cycles or 5,000 cycles to 7,000 cycles, which is what the typical requirement specific to these kind of RTC tenders, which is what we easily could see that and sense that. And all kinds of requirements specific to any kind of tenders, maybe that can be limited to NTPC or SECI or NHPC. So we are open to accept those kind of challenges, but yes, it's more of like we just need to understand what exactly is your requirement, whether it is DC coupled system or AC coupled system. If it is a kind of AC coupled system, it's more easier for us to provide a kind of better stability product when compared with the existing DC coupled systems. So this is a kind of different terminology specific to peak and valley arbitrage. So specific to kind of requirements of the grid, or if you have a kind of certain requirement of meeting certain demands at peak load kind of conditions, yes, even for those kind of conditions as well, our system easily can support you on those particular lines as well. So we have made these kind of containerized solutions as a kind of standard and stabilized model, which are already getting run in Middle East markets, where in which these particular containerized solutions are having better reliability characteristics specific to extreme temperature kind of conditions, where in which we try to go with a kind of forced air cooling mechanism for these kind of solutions. But yes, there will be a kind of slight increment on the auxiliary power, but yes, that can be mitigated with these kind of solutions, whatever we are trying to provide in. So this is a kind of typical DC coupled kind of solution where we try to provide with LFPA kind of technology, but yes, not with NMH, because anyway NMH is not limited for these kind of standalone kind of systems, but yes, that's more relevant for EV kind of segments, but not for these kind of containerized solutions. Since this is a kind of typical schematic which we try to provide for any kind of AC coupled solutions, but yes, any kind of concern or any kind of inquiry you have, you definitely can reach us, and we are having a booth at hall number 1.16. So please join us. Since I'm running out of time, I'm just trying to run the slides fast. So specific to this, we will be going with these kind of LFP batteries, and this is coming with a kind of cell stack and then with a rack, which is completely trying to provide this kind of solution of containerized solution, which is going to have a kind of comprehensiveness right from BMS, battery, EMS, PCS, and also the external transformer as well. So altogether, it's a kind of plug and play kind of system, but yes, it's a kind of comprehensive solution, whatever is required specific to our market needs, that's going to be provided. And we are supporting this particular solutions with these kind of solutions to other markets as well. And it's just a kind of initial start of these kind of solutions getting provided to Indian market. But yes, we easily could hear out these kind of requirements from most of the C&I players, but slowly and predominantly we will be spreading these particular needs also to the RTC tenders kind of thing, where in which we'll be providing our extended support on these particular segments as well. With this, I end the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege in inviting our members from Green Tech Solution Munich Re, Mr. Vishal Purohit and Ms. Catherine Samser to kindly join us onto the stage for their presentation. Thank you. May we request for the lapel mic for our presenters. Thank you so much. A huge round of applause for our next presentation. We are being joined by Mr. Vishal Purohit and Ms. Catherine Samser. Over to you, ma'am.
कॉपी करके दिया था ना आपको विशाल
Now it's working.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. A very warm welcome to all of you. Vishal and myself, we are very happy to present to you our Privy warranty insurance. We are from Munich Re. Vishal is based in Mumbai. I'm from Munich. So let's start right away. Who is Munich Re and Green Tech Solutions? Munich Re is the largest reinsurance company in the world. We have over 140 years experience in taking over all types of risks. We have a global setup, and we are a financially very, very strong company with an AA- rating and a total equity of 31 billion euros. That's definitely something what makes us a reliable partner, and you can be sure we will also be there for the next 140 years. Green Tech Solutions is a part of Munich Re, where we insure green technologies. We have already insured with our international team of global experts a capacity of 50 gigawatt worldwide, and we are both part of that team. What do we actually do at Green Tech Solutions? We provide product and performance warranty insurance for green technologies, for manufacturers, projects, and investors. And we have split up green technologies in our established technologies, such as solar, energy, wind, and energy storage. And the emergent, but we also cover the emergent technologies such as e-mobility, circular economy, and hydrogen. But in this presentation, we only want to give you a short overview about the PV warranty insurance. So what is it all about? It's about reducing the risk of the technical underperformance of your solar modules. So what does this actually mean? The standard procedure is that you, as a developer or investor, purchase solar modules from a PV manufacturer, and with these modules, a 25-year warranty comes along with. But what happens if you suffer a warranty claim after 4 years? You have faulty junction box or a material defects, and 40% of your modules are affected. And the manufacturer is not there anymore. He's either went bankrupt or was taken over. So you have no protection at all. That's actually what we now, that's what we call the warranty risk of solar, and that's why we invented 12 years ago our PV warranty insurance, to cover that risk, which, as you can see in our risk pyramid, is one of the biggest threats to material assets of the project. So what's our cover all about? Our cover consists of two components, and as I already said, the one component is the technical underperformance of the panels, so to cover the warranty risk of solar, and the second component is to cover the insolvency of the PV module manufacturer. This is especially important because in the last 10 years, 50% of the larger manufacturers have gone from the market or taken over. So all the buyers were without warranty insurance, without warranties. How does our warranty insurance work in case a claim happens? That's actually the case when the PV module manufacturer is still there, is still alive, then the solar park suffers a claim. As you can see in the bottom of the slide, the solar park hands in the loss to the PV module manufacturer and also gets the payout from the manufacturer. The manufacturer then can hand in the claim to our PV warranty insurance and gets the claim paid by us. But that's not the interesting case for you as an investor. I think this slide is more interesting for you. And here, as you can see, this is a case where the manufacturer is not there anymore. He's insolvent, and as you can see, the solar park gets the claim paid out directly from the warranty insurance. So the warranty insurance is now in the hands of the solar park. Vishal will now tell you more about the advantages, further advantages of our insurance.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. So what are the advantages of having a PV warranty insurance? We are all entering into a new technology where we are saying it will last for 25 years. What if it doesn't? So who gets impacted? The investors, the bankers, who has relied on the warranty of that part. So what if the warranty doesn't perform? And if it doesn't perform, you will go to the manufacturer, and what you will ask? You will ask for the warranty claim. He will pay back to you on the warranty. What if the warranty is of 50%? So example, 100 megawatt you have ordered, and out of 100 megawatt, 50 megawatt is not performing. Then he will say that I don't have the bankability, or I don't have the myth of handling this claim. I disclaim myself as an insolvent entity. And then you are left with that 50% of the modules. So what happens next is that you don't have the warranty in place. There comes our solution, that warranty insurance, that if the insolvency comes in, we pitch in terms of that warranty is backed by Munich Re, which is an A-rated security as an insurer. So the next part is on the loss of warranty in case of manufacturer insolvency, which I have already disclosed you. Second important aspect is of the lending part. So bankers rely on you that it will last for 25 years, right? And when you say that I also have the warranty gap which is covered by an insurance, then you can ask for a what you call as basis point in the lending rate. So this gives you an advantage in terms of lending rates also, when you show them that this warranty insurance is also covered, right? And the uncertainty of the quality. So what example, like you enter into a new manufacturer, you know that the quality is there, but you are not certain about the quality in terms of whether it will last or not, or whether the manufacturer will survive or not. There also this cover of the insurance plays a big role in terms of your certainty. So those all uncertainty around the technology, around the non-performance, around the insolvency, everything is being taken care by the one product when you say that for the long 25 years, you can rely on this. And how do you get the PV warranty insurance? Whenever you reach out to the manufacturer, just ask for that, can you supply me the warranty insured or warranty backed modules, right? And they are already in touch with us. So if you tell us that these are already our partner globally, all top manufacturers, and in India, we are in touch with almost out of top 10, we are in touch with 7, they already are a partner. So whenever you procure module from them, you just need to ask that I need a warranty backed module so that your reliability goes up already. We have a registered office in Mumbai. You can contact us anytime. I will leave my cards here and you can contact us.
Last slide.
Right?
Mark Leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get in touch.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Ladies and gentlemen, now may I invite our next speaker of the session, Market Area Manager, Renewables DNV, Mr. Alok Kumar. May I request you to kindly join us onto the stage for your presentation. And his topic is Major Trends and Innovations in Renewables. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
Good afternoon. So first of all, thanks a lot for those who have decided to stay back during lunchtime. Yeah, so a lot of innovations and research are going on in the energy sector. And if you look at all of them, all the efforts and endeavors are mainly to kind of tackle what we call as energy trilemma. So we are looking at energy source, which is sustainable. And when I say sustainable, what it means that, it should be the renewable source of power. So we don't want, we don't want to say that the renewable is an alternate source of energy. We don't want to say that this is the new source of energy. What we want to say that, this should be the only source of energy for us. And therefore, whatever is the current installation capacity, it has to go up by several times. And we also want the energy sources that it should be reliable. Whenever we need power, it should be available. And we know that because of the stochastic nature of renewables, this is the biggest challenge, and therefore most of the research and innovations are going on to make it reliable. And therefore now you see that we have something called distributed energy system. And third one is affordable. We want it cheap. We don't want it to be very, very expensive. We want that all the populations should have access to this power. So all the research and innovation, if you want to club, they will fall into one of these three buckets. When we talk about the reliability, artificial intelligence and big data, they are being used big time, and this trend is going to continue. For example, they are being used in the grid analytics and the management. They are being used to forecast the power consumptions. They are being used for intelligent energy trading and pricing. And these are all kind of making it more reliable. And they are also being used for the predictive maintenance. When I say predictive maintenance means we are moving from time-based maintenance to the need-based maintenance. And we are also trying to forecast, the failure well in advance so that the downtime can be reduced as well as the cost can be reduced. It is also being used for the virtual power plant, and big data has started, to be used for design and performance optimization. So we are moving away from the one-fit design for all environmental conditions to a very specific optimization case. And the performance optimization is also where the big data are being used. We are no longer optimizing wind turbine individual basis. We want to optimize it at the wind farm level. And this has a significant impact on the revenue, and it has been seen that 3 to 5% increase can be seen here. So this trend, we believe, is going to continue, and we are already seeing a lot of products and the tools which are tackling this. Next one, when we say sustainability, when we want to have the energy source only from renewables, because of the several competitive use of land, we need to move to the offshore wind also. And we may have heard that India is going to float the tender for offshore wind in this year. And therefore, offshore wind is of interest. A lot of research are already going on. If you look at the potential of offshore wind, this alone can meet the demand of whole world. So that's the kind of potential we have. In offshore wind, we have two different research which are going on. One is to reduce the cost for fixed bottom offshore wind. And second one is to make the commercially viable, what we call as floating wind. Once we have the floating wind commercially viable, this will sort of, open up a new vista, and that can actually alone can, meet the target of the world demand. So when we look at India, in terms of offshore wind potential, we have around 91,000 megawatt of potential for fixed bottom. I am excluding the floating wind. And as per NIWE data, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, each one of them has around potential of around 35,000 megawatt. And India has a plan to sort of, tender out around 37,000 megawatt by 2030. So this is going to, create a new market in India, and a lot of research and innovations covering the whole value chain would be required here. So India, has some different type of challenges when it comes to the offshore wind. If you look at the Gujarat, and the best site is like, block B, as per the 4Wind report. Mean wind speed is around 7 meters per second. Turbulence is around 7%. So as per IEC guidelines, the turbine model should be IEC class 3C. But what is different here is the mean extreme wind speed, which is like 85 meters per second. So we have typhoon conditions both in Tamil Nadu as well as in Gujarat, and we don't have any wind turbine model available in the world that could optimally perform covering the mean wind speed and can also, withstand the extreme wind speed. So what I want to say here that, once the market starts, I'm sure that many OEM will try to design and come up with the India-specific wind turbine models, and that is a need of the hour now. Next one, I wanted to mention about the hydrogen. We hear a lot about hydrogen because we have the hard-to-abate sector. For example, the steel industry, cement, aviation, and they are very hard to electrify, and this is where hydrogen can come and play a role, and they can take us towards the net zero. And as per our DNV ETO outlook, we predict that 5% of the global energy demand would be met by hydrogen, but this is not sufficient to meet the net zero. As if we want to meet the net zero, 15% of the total energy demand by 2050 should be met by hydrogen. However, hydrogen poses some fundamentally, different challenges. Hydrogen is not something new. Hydrogen has been artificially, produced since 16th century. This has been used, but what is different is the large-scale usage of hydrogen. So far, hydrogen has been used in the industrial setup where the production and the consumption have happened at the same place. But now they are going to be in our home, they are going to be in our car, they are going to be, transported through the gas pipeline. And that is going to pose a different kind of challenge. So as you see here, I have just highlighted two properties of hydrogen. First one is the specific energy, which is the power per kg. And as you can see that hydrogen performs very, very well. I mean, 1 kilogram of hydrogen has maximum energy than any other fuel sources. So prima facie, it will look like that hydrogen could be the better source for aviation sector. However, when you look at the energy density, like 1 liter of hydrogen, how much energy does it contain? It fares very, very bad. So what it means that at atmospheric condition, hydrogen occupy a very large volume. And that is going to pose a different kind of challenge when we are going to transport it. So therefore, we need to compress or liquefy when we want to transport it, and therefore, a lot of research are going on for compression, liquefaction, and a certain percentage of energy they do, get consumed when we try to compress or when we, try to liquefy. And all the efforts are towards reducing this cost. just to give you an example, natural gas, when we have in the form of CNG, it is compressed at 250 bar, but when we want to compress hydrogen to be used in our car, it has to be at 700 bar. And, at the atmospheric pressure, 1 kg of hydrogen would occupy somewhere around 11,000 liters. So that's the kind of volume we are talking about. And the compression can consume around 10 to 20% of energy, and that's the biggest challenge we have. So here we have the energy losses. We see a very drastic energy loss when we are trying to compress, but as we go above, say, 100 bar, it is more like a linear form. As we compress more, we also lose energy in the process of compression. So just to, so we have several, pressurized storage, and lot of research are going on to make it more and more compact, and also to ensure that they don't consume energy. When we look at the liquid hydrogen, in terms of volume, they fare very, very well, but what is of disadvantage here that 30% of energy is consumed when we are trying to liquefy, and also it kind of poses a different safety risk. So if you look at hydrogen, fundamentally it is completely different than how other fuel sources behave when it comes to safety. So just, to sort of highlight that how hydrogen is different, I have a plot here where you can see on y-axis we have the burning velocity, on x-axis we have the concentrations, and the comparison is with the natural gas, ethane, propane, ethylene. As you can see, the hydrogen is radically different than the other, fuel sources, and that is going to pose the safety risk. And therefore, whatever safety measures and infrastructure we have, they are not going to work with the hydrogen. We need to have a completely different measures to ensure the safety. So when we try to scale hydrogen, we have several challenges. One of the big challenges is that we don't have experimental data for large-scale hydrogen. We don't have guidelines for the large-scale uses. We do have for the small-scale uses. We do have the simulation tools, but we do need to have experimental data because we want to design something which is inherently safe. And to do that, DNV has several laboratories across the world. I mean, we have labs in US, in Asia, as well as in Europe, and they cover end-to-end value chain. We also have full-scale explosion hazardous testing in UK, where you can do the complete, explosion of hydrogen, and actually you can measure the impacts, that what is the kind of impact for it, and accordingly materials can be, designed to withstand such thing. So that's all. I represent DNV, which is more than 157 years old company based out of Norway. DNV is actually a foundation, and as per the statute of the foundation, we need to invest 5% of our revenue every year in R&D, and that is what leads us to invest heavily in R&D, and we are in the forefront of research for hydrogen or for offshore wind. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation and keeping it within the time limit. Ladies and gentlemen, now may I request our Application Development Manager, Mr. Vivek Kumar from OTT Hydromet, to kindly join us onto the stage with his presentation on innovative product, SMP12. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
KIP and Zonin in India as an application development manager. This is a quite innovative product for all the developers or EPC companies or be it analytic companies. Before we start coming to that point, I'll start with a brief company introduction. We are basically a Danaher Corporation, which is Forbes 500 company, and we are globally ranked 130 in the Forbes 500 list. We there are 3 business verticals which they operate, and we belong to environment and applied solutions, whereas this one. And in environment and applied solutions, OTT Hydromet, we have 3 product lines: Luft, KIP and Zonin, and Sutron. Sutron is a data logging company which we offer. KIP and Zonin is irradiation and soiling solution company, whereas Luft is compact weather sensors company. So 1830 back, KIP and Zonin company started. Most of us in our chemistry labs know the KIP generator. So Mr. KIP is the gentleman who founded that KIP generator, and in 1866 this business was joined by his two another sons, and then they formed Kip and Zonen. Zonen is a Dutch word which stands for sons. And in 1924, since 1924, they started making paranometers as well as parheliometers, which go widely in the solar industry. We have quite a history of innovating products, starting from 1924, first paranometer, first parheliometer, and first smart paranometer, then sun trackers, etc. So last year we developed a product called SMP12, which is built on the foundation block of SMP10, which is smart paranometer. In addition to that, we are there in India with more than 10 years, with more than 100 customers, 5,000 plus sites, and 8,000 plus sensors across all the industries, including utility, rooftops, CNI, and hydro market. So before what we come to, so there are the radiation which comes to us in the form of two forms, which is one is direct and another is the diffused one, which come from the scattered through clouds or aerosols. And this is a glimpse of ISO 9060 2018, which specify the class of paranometers, which is divided into three classes: class A, B, C, or you know it first, second class, or secondary standards. So secondary standard is the best one, which is A. These are the few instruments which help you to measure DNI, DHI, we call it sun tracker, this one on the top, and then GHI with the paranometers, and similarly for that. Now the foundation block of innovation is SMP10. SMP10 is a paranometer where you get output in the analog form, be it current or voltage, along with RS485. And this was widely accepted in the utility scale market for their PR calculations or weather monitoring sensors. We have, while we were developing this SMP12, this is the new product, we had a various VOC, voice of customer, for global developers when we asked what they are looking for an innovation in terms of their PR or the irradiation measurement. They clearly stated that this time they look for some innovation in the O&M side, where we can help them to have a better workout on their plants and So basically three things were added. One was the XY tilt sensor is been added. Another is inbuilt SPD and the solid state dome heating. I will touch each one point. So first, XY tilt is answer. As you know, the PR has been calculated on the data coming from the POA, GTI or GI paranometer. And sometimes they misalign, but there is no closed loop feedback to the data logger or PLC or SCADA. So this will give you an XY tilt sensor back to your data loggers, where you can clearly know whether your GTI parameters is as good as aligned to the PV modules. The next is, we quite heard a lot of times there is a problem at site regarding undersizing, oversizing, or sometimes there is no supply of SPDs for the smart paranometers. As smart paranometers are electrically not isolated, directly integrated, so they need a protection against surges. So this time we have included an SPD inside that paranometer, which is replaceable in case it goes bad. And last but not least, solid state heating has been added. While you calculating your PR at the due to dew and frost at morning and evening hours, you have to eliminate those readings because of your refractive index and all that. So, but now solid state heating is there, so you can include everything in part of that. You cannot, you did not need to eliminate those readings. So earlier what we had in the market, so now SMP12 is there. These are the additional features which you gonna get. It has an internal desiccant, so there is no problem of moisture, and the life MTBF of this device is approximately 10 years. So it is quite a stable device. Sir, there is also a data you will be getting for internal humidity sensor as well as the relative humidity. So that is also there. Our previous models always had two versions, analog in current form and the voltage form as well. But as you are getting too many data points from this device, this time this is RS485 Modbus only. So you will not be getting analog and voltage version, but only RS485 versions. These are the data points extra which you are going to get it, like radiation, internal body temperature. We have a free software download called Smart Explorer. From your Kip and Zonen website you can download, use it, and you can directly configure the pyranometer through SMP12 pyranometer through this software and see the various data points coming to you. So, this is free of cost on KipenZone website. In terms of compatibility, specifically though for those sites where already there is an existing installation, this is one-to-one replacement in terms of mechanical installation and electrical installation of the pyranometer. It can be replaced easily within SMP10. The only point is you need to take care of whether your data logger and system has RS485 Modbus compatibility or not. So, that is that. So, no major impact on your retrofits or upgrades in the existing sites. The only point which I would like to mention here is the power requirement. Because of solid state heating, apart from the voltage 24 volt DC, you need to have a power of 3.5 continuously fed to the pyranometer. In addition to that, there is an instrument called Raison Plus, which I would like to mention. A lot of telemetry companies, RLDC, SLDCs use the DNI, DHI data to forecast the power gen. So, this is the device where we have a pyrheliometer on the bottom black side, on the left side, and the pyranometer shaded one which measure the DNI, DHI. Because the virtue of you are measuring DNI and DHI, you get an GHI calculated as well, which is a mathematical formula. GHI is equal to DNI plus cos theta of DHI. It has an internal data logger, so you do not need any additional data logger. You simply plug this device directly to your SCADA or any RS485 Modbus compatible device and fetch it to them. So, and additional sensors can be added as well. Thank you very much. We are available at booth number 15, 146 is our booth number, hall number 15. Please do come visit if you have any query, concern or any points to be discussed. Thank you for being a patient audience to listen that. Thank you.